It's all good. Hey everybody, this is Jen Polson here. Welcome to my family room. I've got a few guests here with me. Here's my dad, John, his wife, Melanie, and my daughter, Sydney, over there, who just woke up because, you know, she's in college, and when you're at home for Christmas, you sleep in. So anyway, I want to just thank my dad for being here, and I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have. I'm getting up close and personal here, Dad. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, I wanted to tell you for a second, you know, when I was little, I don't remember having any dreams. In fact, most of my adult life, I don't remember having any dreams. Anything that I thought I would be good at, any big aspirations. It wasn't until I turned about 40 a few years ago, and I started having some dreams about what I wanted to do with my life and how I wanted to show up in my life, and what it would take to get there. And it really has been a really amazing process, and it has included just a lot of letting go of ego. It's included a lot of healing and choosing to heal and having a desire to make an impact in the world and make a significant impact in the world. Not like big showy impact, but something that I felt fulfilled in my everyday life and helping others to get there. So I, you know, used to carry around, you know, some anger and resentment, and those things really held me back. They really held me back from, you know, loving the people in my life. They held me back from, oh my goodness, I am so emotional today. They held me back from, you know, being and recognizing the truth about who I am and who God created me to be. And it wasn't a person that was resentful or judgmental or hanging on to stuff I didn't need to hang on to. So I am so grateful for the process that I have been going through the last few years to, you know, break all those walls down and to really like get to my dream and really get on with my life, you know, in ways that are more fulfilling and happy and peaceful and will allow me to show up so much better in the world. And so I have my dad here with me today, and his wife. They're here visiting, and we've just been having a really great morning, just talking and catching up. And you know, I realized a few things, you know, as he was talking. I see so much, thanks Linda, thanks you guys for being here. I see so much of his mother in him. Oh my gosh. And I remember feeling so loved by her as a child and even as an adult. And she and I would correspond through letters over the years, and she always, you know, would type out her letters, and she just had this beautiful gift of writing. And anyway, it was something that I really treasured. And so as we've been talking today, Dad, there have been so many times where I've just seen her in you, and it's just really made me feel close to her, and just, yeah, have felt so grateful. And so anyway, so today I wanted my dad to share a little bit about, you know, his dream and how he's living it, what it took to get there, what that process has been for you. And yeah, so
Great.
You're up.
Okay.
So they don't have to see me cry anymore.
Thanks for that nice tribute about your grandmother. She was definitely a very talented person, probably one of the most intelligent people I know, but also one of the most humble. And There are a couple of things that I did inherit from her. One was not her intelligence, obviously, um, but she was always a great example, reaching out to people and helping whomever she could, whatever way she could, and that was a great example to me. So as I've grown older, and by the way, I know you've felt like you've been going through a transformation process over the last few years, but you've always been um, super sweet and giving and caring about other people, and that's been a good example for me as well. And so as I've grown older, one of the things I did inherit from my mother is we have in our family a little genetic issue that's called FSH dystrophy. And the FSH dystrophy is facioscapulohumeral dystrophy. It's a form of muscular dystrophy that affects all muscle groups. And over time, because of a genetic flaw in a certain chromosome, these muscle groups deteriorate. And my mother had that. It was very late onset for her. Her sister was in a wheelchair for 45 years, but she lived to be 87 years old. So it doesn't really, it affects your mobility, your ability to get around, and your ability to be self-sufficient physically, but it doesn't, doesn't usually, you don't die from this type of dystrophy. So I've got a brother who's 7 years older, and our genetic patterns are almost equal, and he hasn't been able to take a step for the last 5 or 6 years. I have a cousin who's a year older than I am, who is also in that same situation where he can't take a step. So you look at that pattern, and I say to myself, well, that's where I'll be in 7 years, or in 2 years or 3 years, depending on how quickly this condition progresses. So a few years ago, my wife and I, both of us just love to travel. We love to go to other cultures and learn about the cultures and meet people. And so we decided that while I'm still able to have some mobility, I can still walk. But if I have to walk more than 10 or 15 feet, I get in a wheelchair. And we decided that, hey, there's a lot of the world that we have seen, but there's a lot of the world that we haven't seen. And so let's set a goal to put ourselves in a position where we can go out and intermingle with various cultures and countries. So it's not an easy process. It isn't something I could do by myself, but I have a wonderful support group with my wife, and in particular, who helps me on a 24/7 basis to be able to get up and get in the wheelchair, and she takes it apart and puts it in the back of a car or whatever. So we decided we're going to both retire, and we're going to prepare so that we can achieve that goal. I've always loved to fly. I love to travel. I love to experience other cultures. And we figured we better get this planned and go for it, or else I won't be able to do that. I'll be in such a physical condition that I won't be able to travel. So we did that over the last couple of years. We've kind of made those plans, and as of this fall, we've entered kind of a new phase where we just said, okay, here we come. And what we've planned to do over the next couple of years is spend a couple of months in various countries around the world, not just visiting as a tourist, but trying to go to those countries, integrate with the culture a little bit, learn the culture, spend time with people, get to know people, get to develop relationships with people around the world, and hopefully do some good for people in that process. So we started in October, just got back from a couple of months in Spain, which of course Jennifer spent some time in Spain as well. So that was fun. And while we were there, we were able to accomplish those goals of meeting people, making friends, friends that we correspond with now. And then we're home for Christmas and able to come out to Alabama and spend a little time with Jennifer, which has been great. And then we're off for Croatia for a couple of months to do the same thing. And then after Croatia, we'll be back for a few weeks home to see family and friends here, and then off to Germany, and then after that probably Ireland. And we're going to do that for a couple of months or as long as we can. And it's just been, it's a goal I've had for many, many years. The first time I really realized I had a mobility problem was when I was on a business trip in Germany, and the fellow asked, "Why do you walk funny?" And it was kind of then I realized, oh, I've got a problem. Well, just like my brother and just like my aunt. And so anyway, that's something that we have felt is really important for us. It's something that we want to accomplish while we can still do it. And I'm so grateful that I have the support mechanism through my wife and my supportive family to be able to do that. And we definitely want them to come and visit us when we're in these various countries and share
That would be nice.
Share that opportunity with them.
One of the things, that we talked about earlier as we were, as I was trying to talk him into coming on my Facebook Live with me today.
Oh, my arm still hurts.
He says he's shy, but clearly he has the gift of gab. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe I get that from him. I'm not sure. But I was telling them once I get started, sometimes I just keep going and going. Anyway, one of the things that what we talked about is when, a lot of times when we have dreams and our dream is different than maybe what everybody else is doing or everybody else's, basic life patterns. A lot of people have this idea that, you're born, you go to school, you go to college, you work, you retire and die, and that's life. That's it. That's all there is to it. And I decided I didn't want to do that. I know that you guys, didn't want to do that. And one of the things we talked about is that when we do have our dreams and we discover our dreams, there are always people who have an opinion about that and have some judgments about that and how that can feel like really overwhelming. And what I've noticed, even in my work, is that a lot of times, when we get that kind of feedback from people, like, what are you doing? That's so, that's not normal, or whatever people say, is that it brings up a lot of old stuff, like old emotional things that need to heal. But it's an opportunity for us to all, find an inner strength and find, really get set in our purpose and what we want to accomplish with our dreams. So I loved what you said earlier. It's not just about traveling the world and saying, look at me, I'm, so cool. I get to go to all these cool places. I loved the stories that you told about the people that you're meeting. Like, you get to know them, as friends on an intimate level where they're telling you their stories and their pains and their struggles, and you get to see how other people are overcoming, the things that are going on in their lives. And I love that.
Well, and the other thing is you realize how many good people there are in the world. As you get out with the other cultures, and we're all kind of the same.
Yeah, totally.
We all have goals
all-
and aspirations and dreams and
Fears and
but we're raised in in different environments and different political and social environments, but at the heart of it, we all have dreams and want to accomplish those dreams, and it's been extremely enlightening to me, and it's just something that I have. My wife and I just are so happy to be able to do that. We feel so blessed.
So what would you tell everybody, who has this dream tucked away in the back of their head or in their heart, and it's starting to formulate and they're starting to feel like, drawn to something, bigger than maybe what they've ever dreamed before? I mean, what is your wisdom on, how to proceed with that?
Oh, boy, I don't know that I have a lot of wisdom. All I know is that what we have done, Melanie and I have, we just, in a relatively short period of time, said, okay, we're going to take that leap. I had gone to work for an airline after I'd retired to kind of facilitate our ability to do that. And I was able to retire from that airline, the world's largest airline, by the way, which helps. We can get around. And Melanie, who was able to retire from her job, took kind of a leap of faith to do that. But we had planned well enough that it kind of all came together, and we said, let's do it. And we just did it and haven't looked back and have enjoyed it so much.
So you took the risk. So I'm going to break it down here. So like they had the dream, they had the big picture, they had a plan, and the plan was inconvenient for you guys for a couple of years.
A little bit, yeah.
There was some time where you lived in two different places, and there was just some inconvenience that went on in order to make this plan happen.
But I was lucky to have a support group where I was, which is your two brothers.
Yeah.
And it was great to spend time with them in Arizona as well. And so there were benefits even from the inconvenience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I love that point too, because even in the whole process, being able to appreciate the good things that come from the inconveniences, or the, those moments that may feel like a struggle. And then like just persevering no matter what anybody else was saying, and just sticking to your plan, and then taking that leap, taking that leap of faith, which is huge. Because, she's asking, will they write a book about the people they meet? I made that suggestion to them earlier.
We've kept some notes, and we've just met fascinating people. People who, I met a fellow in Spain who, I don't know if you're aware, but we lost Jennifer's younger sister almost a year ago. Passed away from a rare form of cancer. And this fellow in Spain who I became very close to is also fighting cancer. He's had a brain tumor and surgery, and these things that just, cross all cultural lines and draw you together and kind of make you realize that we're all kind of in this together, and let's just go for it and enjoy the ride as you go along, and
love and appreciate people as we go along.
That's right.
In all of their circumstances. I love that. It's powerful. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, we've had so many people coming on to say hi. Thank you so much for for being here. And I'm going to keep working on him, you know, encouraging them to write that book and write down the stories, because I think, you know, when we go out in the world and we're willing to hear people's stories, I can't think of a better way to show love, you know, just to hear people and listen, and people feel loved and valued, and in our willingness to hear their story. And yeah, I love that.
Well, and it's been really good for Melanie and I too, because you know, I'm so dependent on her, and it's been great for us to just be out living our dream and building relationships with other people, but building relationships with those who you're closest to as well, with your family and loved ones. So,
I love that. All right, you guys, go out today and take a risk. Think about what your dream is, and you know, just take that leap of faith, because you are here to do amazing, beautiful things in this world, and we're here to support you, cheer you on. Okay, have a great day, everybody. I love you all.